Hello my dear students, I hope you all have been doing well. Today we are going to discuss about the protein structure, and this is my lecture number 2, and in my previous lecture we have already been discussed about amino acids. Why we discuss in our previous lecture about the amino acid? Because the protein are the macromolecule of amino acid, and to understand the structure about the structure of protein, we should have to know how the protein how these amino acid collect together or join together and form a protein. So first I would like to conclude a little bit from my previous lecture whatever we have been understand about the amino acid. So in my previous lecture, that was lecture number 1, we studied that amino acid actually are the building block of protein, and these amino acid are the monomer of proteins, and these amino acid, each amino acid, there are 20 amino acid that are existing in nature, and each amino acid is having an alpha carbon atom that is joined together with 4 different atoms, so or the groups. So one is the carboxyl group, one is the amino group, and one is the hydrogen atom, and one is the side chain. And the differences in the amino acid is due to the differences in this side chain that each amino acid is having. So these amino acid join together via peptide bond after removal a molecule of a water and form a polypeptide chain. So this polypeptide, first of all we would be before discussing the structure of a protein, first of all we would be studying a little bit about this peptide bond, because the structure of a protein is very much concerned with the behavior of peptide bond, how this peptide bond is behave in the biological environment, or what type of chemical and physical properties this polypeptide bond is having. So this first of all we are seeing here that this is the structure of an amino acid. When amino acid how this peptide bond form? The peptide bond form due to the removal of this hydroxyl group from hydroxyl atom from carboxylic group, and one of the hydrogen atom from the amino group, and this hydroxyl and water join to hydroxyl and hydrogen atom join together and form a water molecule. And after the removal of these two groups from this amino acid molecule, a peptide bond form. So the peptide bond form between two amino acid. So here we are seeing this is the peptide bond, C double bond O and H. So this is the peptide bond. So this peptide bond due to the peptide, when this peptide bond remain inside the protein, means away from the chemical, or you can say watery environment of cell, means when the whatever the amino acid that are joined together via this peptide bond, for example the hydrophobic amino acid. So hydrophobic amino acid always buried inside the inside the protein, because hydrophobic amino acid repel from hydrophobic due to having hydrophobicity. So amino acid repel by the water, so it goes inside the protein, means inside the protein. So all those amino acid that are formed between hydrophobic amino acid, all those peptide bond that are formed between hydrophobic amino acid. So these are present inside the protein in interior means side of the protein, and they have long time to hydrolyze via means in the chemical environment, or to be degrade in the chemical environment or the watery environment of cell. However, so all those proteins that are having amino acid that are hydrophobic in nature, high proportion of amino acid that are hydrophobic in nature, and the protein are in the folded form, so they take long life to be degraded. And the all those protein that are not found in the folded form, they are unfolded form, and that are mainly having hydrophilic amino acid. So the peptide bond that form in between the hydrophilic amino acid, they means hydrolyze over the 7 years. So protein folding and unfolding is one of the most important thing for that means that relate with the peptide bond stability or instability. If the protein will be folded form, so it means that peptide bond would be protected from water or other biological, somewhat protected from water or other biological environment, chemical environment. So the peptide bond would take a long time to hydrolyze. However, if the protein will be present in the unfolded form, so the peptide bond peptide bond would be exposed more with the biological environment and chemical environment, and would take a short time to be hydrolyzed. So this was the one factor, and the other factor is that the protein or the peptide bond can be oxidized or by the oxidative environment of the cell, or they may be degrade enzymatically. So peptide bond, one more thing, that peptide bond also called as amide bond, and the peptide bond, all the atom of the peptide bond lie in the same plane. So here we can see we are having the peptide bond here, C double bond O and NH. So this is the peptide bond. All the atom of the peptide bond lie at the same plane. So peptide bond is planar, is having peptide backbone is the planar, and except that the oxygen atom of the carbonyl group and the hydrogen atom of the amide group lie trans to each other. So when the all atom lies at the same plane, so they are these atom are cis. However, all those atom that found to opposite to each other, so they are trans. So here we can see that oxygen atom is trans to this hydrogen atom. So the basic point that you have to understand here is this, that all the atom of the peptide bond lie in the same plane, and the peptide bond is having planar peptide bond is planar in nature. And due to one more thing that we wish to discuss here, that the oxygen atom of this carbonyl group having partial negative charge, however the hydrogen atom of this amide group having partial positive charge. So due to this partial positive and partial negative charge, a dipole set up over this peptide bond, and due to this dipole peptide bond is having partial double bond character. And one more thing that I would wish to explain you here, that is the you can see here carbon and nitrogen atom. So a bond that is formed means peptide bond that is forming between we can see here is having shorter bond length as compared to the carbon, the bond that form between C alpha and N and C alpha and C. So in the what I wish to explain here, that you have to just keep in your mind two things. One is peptide bond is having partial double bond character due to the positive and negative charge on the carbonyl oxygen and the amide hydrogen respectively. And second thing is peptide bond length is somewhat shorter as compared to nearby bond. So due to this partial double bond character, peptide bond having restriction to rotate freely in the biological milieu of cell. So and one more thing that we wish to discuss here, that peptide protein means peptide polypeptide chain or the protein is having angles, and we call these angle as a Ramachandran angle. These name on the scientists who means identify them first. And what are these Ramachandran angle? Now from this slide we would be discuss about the angles and the angles that are present in the protein. So the Ramachandran angles, the angles that are protein that are present in the polypeptide chain is called as the Ramachandran angles. And the Ramachandran angles are are based on the name of the scientists who identify them. So what are the Ramachandran angles? Ramachandran angles are actually the pi and Pasi bonds. So the bond, one of the peptide bond that we have discussed, and except this peptide bond, we can see here that one bond formed between N and carbon C alpha. This is the pi bond, and that bond that formed between C alpha and C, it is the Pasi bond. So here we can see that here you can see this is the peptide bond that is forming C double bond O and H. So this is the peptide bond that is highlighted with the light sky blue color, and the bond that formed between carbon C alpha C is the Pasi bond, and the bond that is forming between NC alpha is the pi bond. So you have to keep remember that pi bond form between NC alpha and Pasi C alpha C, and these two bonds are present before and after this peptide bond. So peptide bond, why these bonds are important for the protein? Because we have discussed that the peptide bond that is C double bond O and H, this bond is rigid. Why it is rigid? Because it is having partial double bond character. So this partial double bond character not allow the atom of the bond to rotate freely in the biological milieu. However, this bond that is formed between C alpha C, that is the Pasi bond, and the pi bond that is formed between NC alpha, these bond have free or flexible rotation. The atom of these bond pi and Pasi bond can be easily rotate in the biological environment, and due to the rotation of these bond, protein can be easily, polypeptide chain could be easily rotate and take any conformation in the environment, in the chemical or in the watery environment or in the biological milieu of cell. So these are the importance of this pi and Pasi bond, and protein structure and protein conformation based on the rotation of this pi and Pasi bond in the biological milieu of the cell. So what is the protein conformation? Protein conformation is the shape of the molecule, protein molecule or polypeptide chain that a polypeptide chain exhibit after the rotation of a around the rotation of a single bond. So this is the conformation when protein polypeptide chain will acquire any shape, and this shape is due to the rotation of the rotation of the polypeptide chain around a single atom. So we say this is the protein conformation. So why these pi and pasi bond are so much important, why this Ramachandran bond are very much important for the polypeptide chain, because partial peptide bond itself is rigid. Its atom cannot rotate freely. However, the pi and pasi bond atom can be rotate freely. So due to the pi and pasi bond rotation, protein polypeptide chain can easily move in any direction and exhibit any possible conformation. And now we would be seeing that how these amino acid join together and form a protein, a different conformation or different structure. So till now we discuss about the peptide bond characteristic, how protein polypeptide chain form, and how the bond rotate and exhibit different conformation. So now we are discussing about going to discuss about the structure of the different structure of protein. So protein, made up of polypeptide chain is made up of joining of the amino acid. So and this amount, how these amino acid join together. Actually the amino acid, here we can see that the two amino acid when joined together via a peptide bond, after removal of a water, they make a peptide bond, and this two amino acid always having one peptide bond, and three amino acid we would form a dipeptide, means it would be having two peptide bond. So doing so, after adding number of amino acid, protein make these amino acid makes a long polypeptide. But basic question is this here, that how these amino acid, how this reaction takes place. So by that the amino acid join together and form a polypeptide chain. So actually this reaction takes place in the cell cytoplasm, and from where this reaction is initiated, and how it could be possible in the cell that cell could be able to synthesize a particular type of polypeptide chain. So here we are discussing this. Actually this joining of the amino acid takes place, and we say this process as a translation. So what is the translation? Translation is the process of protein synthesis. So what is the protein? Protein synthesis is the formation of a polypeptide chain, a single polypeptide chain. So after when polypeptide chain form in the cell, so it take different conformation. So we say we call these conformation that post-translational modification, or sometime protein can fold as polypeptide chain form. So we say this process as co-translation. So I would wish to first describe you here how it could be possible of a cell to join amino acid together. So and how it could be possible for a cell to synthesize a particular type of a polypeptide. So all this information is encoded in our gene. All of you know about that what is a gene. Actually gene is a segment of a DNA that is present in our genome or a genetic material. So DNA is our genetic material that is present in the cell. So in our DNA there is a particular segment of DNA that we call as gene. So what is gene? Gene is a actually particular segment, and that is encoded with a protein. What does mean by encode? Encode means a particular sequence of nucleotide that is present on DNA is having information that a particular type of protein or polypeptide chain would be formed. So as we can see here that we are having a DNA that is present in a nucleus, and this DNA is having a series of a small series of a nucleotide, and it is a gene, and this gene is having, nucleotide is having a particular information. And what is this information? It is a sequence of nucleotide. What is GCATCACA? So this is information that is telling that a particular type of polypeptide would be synthesized in the cell. So what then next would be happen? Then the next thing that would be happen in the cell is that this particular sequence of gene would be form messenger RNA, and this process is called as transcription. So after transcription, this messenger RNA will be formed that will be having the information, copy of information that DNA was having. So actually this DNA, this information copied into the messenger RNA, and this messenger RNA would transport it into the cytoplasm. This is the cytoplasm, and this cytoplasm, this messenger RNA will come and join with the this ribosome. So actually the ribosome is present in the cell with means bounded form, two parts of ribosome, two subunit of ribosome, small subunit and large subunit present as separated in the cytoplasm. But when this messenger RNA comes in the cytoplasm, the large subunit of ribosome join with the small subunit and then read this messenger RNA. So when this messenger RNA come under the large and small subunit, then what happened next? The one other type of messenger RNA, that is the one other type of the RNA, that is the transfer RNA, would bring amino acid into this ribosome. So this amino acid would be complementary to the sequence of the information that this messenger RNA would be having, and then this transfer RNA would read that where this amino acid should have to bind on this messenger RNA. So how it could be accomplished, you know, in the means a principle of the this process, G always bind with the C and A always bound with this U, nucleotide U, and so that is how where would be if the this transfer RNA having the amino acid that would be having the sequence GCA, so it would must always bind with the sequence of messenger RNA that would be having GUG. So that is how this amino acid would be transferred here, and then the next transfer RNA would come the next amino acid, and the next amino acid that would find its complementary sequences on the messenger RNA, and after finding the complementary sequences on the messenger RNA, a peptide bond would be formed between these two amino acid after the removal of a water, and this reaction is called as a condensation reaction, and by doing so many amino acid would form a polypeptide chain. So this is the how that polypeptide chain form in the cell. So and the condensation reaction takes place in our cell. So after formation of this means polypeptide chain, the protein can be fold, while during this process means during the formation of polypeptide chain. So if the protein fold simultaneously during this process, so we say this as code translation, or it may be possible that after removal of a protein from this ribosome, after removal of a polypeptide chain from this ribosome, protein fold after the completion of this polypeptide synthesis. So when the protein will be fold after the completion of the translation process, we say it as post-translational folding or post-translational modification. So after the completion of the translation, so we will be having this protein. So it is a primary structure. So what is the primary structure of protein? Primary structure is actually the sequence of amino acid, and this sequence of amino acid, from where this sequence of amino acid comes, this sequence of amino acid actually comes from gene. It was encoded in the gene. So this was the primary structure, and we are seeing that the secondary structure, tertiary and quaternary structure of a protein, we would be discussing each structure in detail in the coming slide. But you have to just keep in your mind that protein is having 4 level of structure. One is primary, then secondary, then tertiary, and the quaternary structure. So what is the primary structure we would be discussing here? Actually, the primary structure or first degree structure of protein polypeptide chain is that that sequence of amino acid that was encoded in the gene. Actually, the primary structure is the linear sequence of amino acid in the polypeptide chain, and this linear sequence was encoded in the gene. And this protein biological activity is based on this linear sequence of amino acid. And protein 3-dimensional structure, what type of 3-dimensional structure protein would be exhibit in near future? It is based on this primary sequence of amino acid. So when protein means this polypeptide form, then after the formation of this polypeptide primary structure, protein takes secondary structure, then after that it takes tertiary structure, and then after that it takes quaternary structure. So this tertiary structure is the 3-dimensional structure of the protein that is based on this primary sequence of amino acid. So this primary sequence tell that what type of 3-dimensional structure of structure the protein will be exhibit in the future. So here we would be discussing about the primary structure. So primary structure is just linear sequence of amino acid in the cell. So what is the secondary structure? Actually, the secondary structure is the any regular reoccurring arrangement of the amino acid or the atom in the protein in space. So this arrangement can be any type. It can be alpha helices, it can be beta sheet, beta strand, it can be coil, it can be beta turn, it can be loop or beta bulge. So what is the secondary structure? Actually, the secondary structure of protein is that structure when the sequence of amino acid will take any repeating arrangements in this space. So we will say this secondary structure. Here we can see we are seeing here repeated coil, and that we say as alpha helix. So this is the secondary structure of protein. Here we can see that we are having two the folded polypeptide and it is beta plated sheet. So one by one we would be discussing what is how protein can take the alpha helix form and what are the characteristic of alpha helix and beta sheet and so on. So here we would be discussing first secondary structure or most common or most abundant secondary structure of protein, that is the alpha helix. So the alpha whatever protein that is synthesized in our cell, so almost 30 to 35% of protein is present in the alpha helical form within the cell. So what is this alpha helix? It is actually the twisting of helix on itself in the right-handed form, and then these are the amino acid that are mostly form the alpha helix. These are only I written here the letters, and you know what are these letters indicating. These are alanine, cysteine, leucine, methionine, and so on. So all these are amino acid would have the capability to make the alpha helix. So and then the you can say that, you can see here that each turn from here to here, this is only one turn. So in each turn of the alpha helix there are 3.6 amino acid residues would be found to be involved in one turn of alpha helix. So alpha helix and what are the other characteristic of alpha helix? In the alpha helix, what a hydrogen atom would be formed between the oxygen of the carbonyl and the hydrogen of amide group. So we can see here, this is the carbonyl oxygen. It is forming hydrogen bond with the it is forming hydrogen bond with the hydrogen of amide group. So here every time we can see that a bond is forming between the hydrogen of amide group and the oxygen of the carbonyl group. So due to this hydrogen bonding, the between the oxygen of carbonyl and the hydrogen of amide, protein would be having twisted structure, and it coil on itself and take the right-handed form and form a alpha helix. So now we would be here discussing some important properties of alpha helix. Alpha helix is would be always right-handed, means it will be twisted on the in right-handed form on itself, and then the one end of the alpha helix would be having amino terminal, that would be having N terminal, that would be having amide group, and at the end, and one end would be having would be carbonyl, would be and C terminal, that would be having carbonyl group at the end. So the amine group having hydrogen, that is having positive charge, and the carbonyl group is having oxygen, that would be having negative charge. So due to this charges on the amide and the carboxylic group, the one terminal of the alpha helix would be positive in nature and the other terminal would be negative in nature, and hydrogen bonds are positive in nature, that are taking part extensively between the making bonding between these between the turns of these helix. So all these due to all these charges, there is a temporary dipole that would be set up on overall on this alpha helix. So we say that this alpha helix is having the dipole moment because it is having partial positive and partial negative charges. So one pole would be the partial positive and one pole would be the partial negative. So means molecule that is having two charges together is having the dipole. So the alpha helix is exhibiting the dipole, and due to this positive and negative charge, the alpha helix would be amphipathic. So what is the amphipathic molecule? The amphipathic molecule are those molecules that are having two different charges in a molecule, and due to this two different charges, they means an amphipathic molecule is those molecule that is means having characteristic to take part as a hydrophobic or hydrophilic at a time. So how the molecule can be means act as a hydrophobic or hydrophilic at a time? Because the molecule is having this protein is having some hydrophobic amino acid that is that repel the water, and the hydrophilic amino acid that attract the water. So hydrophilic amino acid, why the hydrophilic amino acid are hydrophilic in nature? Because they are having charge. And why the hydrophobic amino acid are acting as a hydrophobic? Because they are not having charge but they are somewhat polar. So this the alpha helix having different amino acid, we can see here So some of the amino acid acting as a hydrophobic and some are hydrophilic. So what will happen, this alpha helix would act as a amphipathic molecule. So here now we would be studying about the different types of the alpha helix. Actually alpha helix are having different types. One type is 310 alpha helix, one is the alpha helix, and one is the pi helix. So what is the 310 alpha helix? 310 alpha helix is actually the alpha helix, but this alpha helix having total 10 atoms, and it is having 3 amino acid in each turn. When we were talking about simple alpha helix, so it would be having 3.6 turn, but when we talk about this 310 alpha helix, so this 310 alpha helix would be having 3 amino acid per turn. So this was about the 310 alpha helix. And the alpha helix, now we would be discussing here the example of proteins that would be having alpha helix. So one of the most important type of protein that is found the connective tissues, in the connective tissues of our body, is the collagen, and this collagen is exclusively made up of the alpha helix. So and in collagen, the alpha helix are the left-handed. So this is the one unique property of this collagen. Also the alpha helix are right-handed. They are taking turn in the right-handed form, but in the collagen the alpha helix are present in the left-handed form, and the 3 alpha helix twist each other and form a collagen fiber. So and in each helix of the collagen, in each helix of the triple helix of collagen, we can found 3 amino acid per turn. So and one more important property of alpha helix that are present in collagen is that they are having a high proportion of one of the unique amino acid, that is hydroxyproline. So actually what is the hydroxyproline? Hydroxyproline is a in the nature 20 different amino acid are existing, and proline is one from them, but this hydroxyproline is an unusual amino acid or modified amino acid that modify after this polypeptide chain synthesized after the translation process. So post translation modification takes place in the proline and it makes the hydroxyproline. So what this post translation takes place, it is the hydroxylation. So hydroxyl group will add in the proline amino acid and make it this hydroxyproline. So the alpha collagen protein that is present in our tendon and in our connective tissues are having high proportion of hydroxyproline. So what is the unique thing and why this hydroxyproline is present in this protein? Because this hydroxyproline give unique property to this collagen to easily bend. So the connective tissues, and then where we are having the connective tissues in our body, we are having connective tissues in our body as a ligament or a tendon that join 2 bones together, and you can see that that we are having the tendon and ligament in our bone joint, and due to this tendon and ligament our bone can easily rotate or bend. So why this tendon and ligament can be easily rotate or bend? Due to the presence of this hydroxyproline. And when we were discussing about amino acid, so I explain you there that this proline amino acid is having aliphatic side chain that is cyclic in nature, and it is having amino group, not the amino group. So due to this presence of amino group and cyclic chain aliphatic chain of proline, so it is easily bent. So due to this property of this amino acid proline and due to the hydroxylation, what happened that this amino acid having property to easily rotate the protein or the polypeptide chain where it is present. So the hydroxyproline are present in the collagen in high quantities, and due to this high quantity or high proportion of proline, the collagen easily rotate, so or bendable. So now we are discussing about the another secondary structure, that is the beta sheet. So what is this beta sheet or beta strand? Excuse me. So beta strand, here we are seeing a picture of a beta sheet. So this beta sheet is having 4 beta strand. So each means a single polypeptide chain that is forming. What is the beta strand? First we have to discuss about this. So beta strand are present in the beta sheet. Many of the beta strand would join with each other via hydrogen bonding and make a beta plated sheet. And what are the beta strand? Actually the beta strand are the strands that are having that are having single stretch of amino acid, and these amino acid make having capability to make a hydrogen bond with the nearby nearby atom that are present in the other beta strand. So many of this strand make hydrogen bond and form a beta plated sheet. So the amino acid what are these type of amino acid? Valine, isoleucine, phenylalanine, threonine, and phenylalanine, tryptophan, and tyrosine would be found in the beta plated sheet. And then in the beta plated sheet that is made up by the hydrogen bonding, by the development of the hydrogen bonding between the atoms, would be in this beta plated sheet amino acid would be less compact as compared to the alpha helix. So how this beta plated sheet are formed? These beta plated sheet are formed by when the beta strand make the hydrogen bond between each other, between the amino acid of other strand, and where we can see here that where this amino acid are making the hydrogen bond. So we can see here the hydrogen bond would be formed between the hydrogen of amide group and the carbonyl of the and the oxygen of the carbonyl of the adjacent beta strand. So this was about the beta sheet. Beta sheet are having different type. It may be parallel and it may be anti-parallel. So what will be the anti-parallel beta sheet? We can see here, if the beta strand in the beta plated sheet would be having different direction, so it will be anti-parallel beta sheet. So what is this direction? I will explain you here. You can see here this is a beta strand and it is having direction. What direction it is having? It is having means here it is having C to N, C terminal to N terminal. However, another strand that is present adjacent to this strand, it is having direction N to C. So this is the anti-parallel. And then we are saying the other strand that is present nearby, it is having C to N direction, and the other strand it is having direction and terminal to C. So when you will be having a beta plated sheet that is having opposite direction of beta strand in this sheet, so it will be anti-parallel beta strand sheet. And one more thing that we can see here, that in the anti-parallel beta sheet, the hydrogen bonding that will be takes place would be takes place between the means the amino acid or carbonyl group, between the carbonyl group of the amino acid and the amide group of other amino acid, of those amino acid that would be present, means straight from, we can say, from straight from each other, means they will not be forming any zigzag portion, so that will be present across from each other. However, in antiparallel beta sheet, we can say that hydrogen bonding that is forming, it is in zigzag formation, means the hydrogen bond would be formed from the carbonyl oxygen of one amino group of the strand with the amide hydrogen of other amino acid that would be present, means alternate to the across from. And why this is the this sheet is the parallel beta sheet, because we can see here that the direction of the beta strand, the both strand of the beta sheet would be having same direction. So here we can see that this strand is having N to C direction, and the other strand is also having N to C direction. So the all strand that would be present in this sheet would be having same direction, that would be N to C. So this is the parallel and antiparallel beta sheets. And and in many type of proteins, these actually the mixture of parallel and antiparallel beta sheets are present, and due to this reason, the beta sheet is not fully flat, means it is formed somewhat in twisted form. So and then beta sheet can means this parallel and antiparallel beta sheets can be make cyclized with each other. So after the cyclization, the conformation, the polypeptide would be exhibit, it would be beta barrel form. So what is the beta barrel form or beta barrel? Beta barrel, actually the beta plated sheet that are in cyclic form. And one more thing, that these beta strand have the handedness. What is the handedness? They are present either in right-handed form or either in left-handed form. In the in case of alpha helix, we studied there that alpha helix always be present in the right-handed form. In the alpha helix, the polypeptide chain twist on each other in right-handed form. However, in the beta plated sheet, the beta strand can be twist themselves, can be